Welcome everyone, welcome to another episode. With this craft you're going to need some stir sticks, and then you're also going to need some water. You'll also need some paint. You can choose any colors or types that you like. I have kind of a combo here, so you can choose whatever you'd like. These are some little ornaments from the Dollar Tree. And then I've got these cups that I'm going to be using. These are a 3-ounce bath cup. I find these at Dollar General in their dollar section. Then I'm also going to be using some glitter glue. And I'm going to need some scissors. And then I'm also using some clear, it's like shelf paper, shelf liner. I put it here on the table, but that's optional. You can use something else if you'd like. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to shake your paints up really well. Just make sure that everything is mixed up inside there. And then I'm just going to be using a little bit of paint of each of the colors. So I add a little bit of paint here. And then I am going to add a little bit of my glitter glue because I want to see if it'll help give it kind of a glittery texture. I was going to just add glitter, but I went ahead and tried this. It wasn't coming out, so I just used my stir stick and pulled that out so that I can mix the two together. Now I did find on this, it's easier to do it a little bit different than I'm doing here. I did add water. I added a little bit too much, but I did add a little bit more paint. You won't see it on here. I did edit that out, but I did add a little more paint because I want to get the right consistency here. And so I found that if you mix the glitter glue with the water and kind of mix that up first and then add your paint, that does work a little bit better. But here I'm going to be adding white. White is going to be my base color, even though I did the pink first. I'm going to do a little bit more of the white because, again, that's going to be my base color that I'm going to be putting the other colors onto. Now, this is based off of like Dutch pouring or fluid pouring, acrylic fluid pouring for crafts, for painting, but I'm using it for these ornaments. So there I put a little bit of glitter glue again in the white. Now I didn't put it in all the colors, but I did put it in some of them, and you can kind of see there off to the side that I did have like 4 or 5 different colors of glitter glue, and I added them to some of the glitters or some of the colors that matched. Here's all of them mixed. And then you'll see here, I'm sorry, I do apologize, I kind of got messed up here because I thought I hit record, but I guess I double hit it and it only recorded just a couple seconds. So this is what you do, is you want to put down your base coat of white. Here I'm reloading it, and so I put the white down. Then I went ahead and put the different colors. I just put little dots or little sprinkles, or however you want to do it is fine. I chose a few different colors of pinks, red, purple, and then I had a black because I wanted to add a little darkness into it. And then I also had like a pearly gray, which just kind of gave it a little extra as well. And so you can just do it in pinks or reds or a combo, or even if you just want to do a couple colors, you can do it that way too. Really depends on what you want to do with it. So here I am just adding little bits of each of the different colors for my ornaments. You can see a couple there at the top of the screen, or the bottom of the screen, I guess. If you're watching it, it does show it at the bottom, and that is what they end up looking like. Now I am just making some swirls in it because I wanted it to get kind of started there. And you'll see here I am just dipping that in there, and then I am just popping those air bubbles between those hearts and the different design that's in there. And here you go. That is what that one looks like. And then I set it on a cup to let it dry Here I am just popping air bubbles because there are air bubbles that get into the paint, and I just wanted to pop those. I do suggest wearing gloves, but I didn't do it for some reason. And so my hands do get kind of messy, especially with popping these bubbles, and you could use a stir stick for that as well. Here I really liked how the red and pink and white kind of did these little lines, and so that's what I'm showing you there. And then here we go, we reload our paint again. You can really only get 2 or 3 per load that you do, and so you just be mindful of that. It gets to be a little bit muddy if you don't do that, and you want to make sure that your surface is big enough that you're getting enough room for your entire ornament to go into that paint, because you'll see there are a couple of times where I didn't get quite enough, and then I would just dip a little bit of it back into it, and here we are just popping air bubbles again. And so you can also blow at those, and sometimes that helps. I was going to use a heat gun, but I was just afraid it was going to mess things up. So anyway, and that's my 8 ornaments. It went pretty quickly, and you'll notice there is paint still on the table. I'm going to use that for another craft. That's why I went ahead and used the clear paper, is so that I can save that and use it for another craft. And here's a close-up so that you can see the different ornaments. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part. So this is phase 2 of what I'm doing with these. You'll notice that once they dry, they are a little bit lighter, but they are each unique. And now if I was doing this for somebody else, I would paint in the back, and I would also put a gloss on it. However, it's just for me, so I'm not going to worry about doing that. And I might do it later, I don't know. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the twine that they included for each ornament, and I'm going to tie those up. And you'll notice that I do leave quite a bit there at the top, and I'm going to be using those, so don't cut those off yet. I have got a twine rope. It's 9.5 feet, and that is just perfect for what I need it for. And I'm going to be tying a little knot on either side here, because I'm going to be using this to put up on my mantle place. So, or my mantle for my fireplace. And so I made a knot at each side for my corners, and then I went to the middle. Now with this rope, it had a little thing in the middle, so it kind of was nice because it helped me keep track of where that middle was. And then here I'm just kind of putting them out so that I get similar colors a little on each side. I don't want all one side being lighter and one side being darker. I kind of try to match them back and forth with that. And then here I had an extra little bit of twine. I went ahead and made a knot here in the middle. Even though I had that little piece that was included in that rope, I just went ahead and tied this on here, and I did cut that end a little bit off, but that's just to help me hang it when I hang it on my mantle. So then what I do is I take my rope and I put one side out to one side and one to the other, and I have 4 ornaments that I will be adding. So I'm going to fold this twice, and that gives me 4 sections, and I'm going to be tying them in the middle of that section. So here I went ahead and used that twine and tied it on. That's what I was using that top of that twine for, and why I kept it on. And then you'll see here I'm just taking that next section, and in the middle of that section I tie my next heart on. It's a good way of just kind of keeping things a little bit even without having to measure the whole thing out. So then once I get those all tied on, then I go to my ribbon, and I've chosen different ribbon with different sizes, different styles. Some had wire, some did not. Some were bigger or thicker, and some weren't. Some were new on spools, and this is just a remnant, and I'm going to use it. I try to keep my ribbon and use it for different projects, and so this was me just deciding I'm going to use these. And instead of just one on either side, I decided to cut it into a little bit smaller pieces so I could have 2 on each side. And then I just put them in piles, 2 piles, because I've got 2 sides of this. And then I decided that looks like that's about the size I wanted. And then here I am just taking a lighter, and you will see me doing this with the ribbon a few different times. I used that one piece, determined how long I wanted it, then cut more. And then I take the lighter and I burn the ends of it just lightly, and that helps that ribbon from fraying. So that's why I'm using that lighter, is I just go ahead and burn those edges just a little bit. Actually, not really burn it, but melt it. And then that helps it from fraying. And I do that with all of the ones that I think will have a problem with fraying. You know, there are a couple of other types of ways that I do things, but that's what I normally will do, is just burn those, or melt those ends. I keep saying burn, I apologize. And then that way, and I apologize here. I had a little visitor that wanted to help me, so I had to give her a little bit of love, and we put her down so that I could continue. So once I cut all my ribbon out, then I take some of them and cut them. I dovetailed the end of these. That helps with the fraying. I don't have to worry so much about it, and so I don't worry about melting the ends of that ribbon. And then here I'm just showing you can do both sides at once if you put them together and then cut it, and then all of a sudden you will have both ends done at once. So whichever way you like to do it. And then here I'm going to cut these at an angle, and I just want to do different styles all throughout my my little mantelpiece swag here, and so that's why I did it in different ways. And then here we go again, just melting those edges to keep them from fraying. So then I'm going to find that middle again, spread my project out on either side. I decide where I'm going to start, and then I just try to alternate ribbons, and I just tie them on. I just tie them once. You don't have to worry about tying knots in them. If you wanted to make bows here and there, you could. Here, for me, I just wanted something simple, and I am just tying them in little knots and putting them on that rope so that they kind of stick out in different directions. You'll notice some are longer, some are shorter, and the good thing about this with just tying them that once is you can move them around however you want. And then here you see I'm just making sure everything's tied on well and fluffing and just making it so that is our complete project. And here it is on the mantle along with some of our other decorations, and you see that I did add some lights in the background. They're little spheres, and I hung those up and then put my swag on top of that so that it kind of had a little bit of light there in the background. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you give it a try. Give us a thumbs up and a like, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.